good. Great. You know what I love about a good applause? I need a hand. Okay, live crowd, I like that. Afternoon crowd, very good. Okay, let's practice something. When I touch my forehead, I need you to cheer like it's the greatest thing on earth. The greatest thing on earth? Good, good. Okay, and then when I stroke my belly, just standard clap, nothing major. Okay, good, I like that. And then we'll work that practice throughout the whole segment here. My name is Alejandro. That is my alias name on this planet. My name is actually Droico, and I come from a galaxy far, far away. I'm the one-handed superhero of inspiration, and I'm known as the Guardian of Hope. And I'm here to offer a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of hope, a wee bit of humor, and some funky music. Do you guys like my ambient theremin flow? Good, all right, yeah, very, very, very good. I also have my crackle box, I got a didgeridoo. We're gonna mix it up. I like to tell stories, and then I like to do a lot of one-handed jokes, a lot of one-handed overtones. And then right now, are there any questions kids have? Anything you all wanna know, now is the time to ask. Okay, at any time I field questions. I would like to say, as I get started, I've been coming to the Oregon Country Fair since 1993. It's a good chunk of time. And then, over the last 6 years, I worked at my didgeridoo teacher's booth. I actually worked a booth for a number of years, and now I perform. And I couldn't be more pleased to perform at the youth stage. For me, this is actually giving back to the Oregon Country Fair because at many times in my life here, my life has completely changed for the better. And it's such a great opportunity to be able to give back to the Oregon Country Fair, to give back to kids, to the youth stage. Can I get a round of applause for the youth stage? Now remember, when I stroke my head, you got to clap like it's the greatest thing on earth. Very good. All right. Great, great, great. Okay, in this segment, you know what I'd like to do is I want to tell a couple stories for the adults and for the kids about the Oregon Country Fair, because not having two hands actually has a lot of benefits. Now, I enjoy not having two hands. Now, I know that might be a little hard to believe up front, but after about 30 minutes, you'll be with me. There are a lot of benefits to not having two hands. One great benefit to not having two hands, I get 50% off all manicures. Such a great benefit. But there isn't a day that goes by that a child doesn't ask me where my hand is at, or what happened to my hand, or what kind of hand is that. And even when I was back here prepping, some little girl came back there and she was just like, whoa, you don't have a hand. And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't, and you're cute and smart. So she just grabbed my hand, she's like, what is that? Little girls are much different than little boys, as you all know. Right? So girls ask a different set of questions than boys do. So once I was here at the fair, and it was a hard fair for me. This was a while back, and I actually I didn't have enough money to get home, so I had to sell my Sunday ticket. So I was out in the parking lot selling my ticket, and I was talking to this gentleman. I was with my friend. I was talking to this gentleman about my ticket, and I'm trying to sell him this ticket, and out of nowhere, his little daughter, she must have been 6, she just reached up into our conversation, grabbed my arm like this with both hands. And then she said, what's this? And her dad looked just like this. So I gave my ticket to my friend. I was like, go ahead and sell my ticket. So I'm going to just talk to this little girl. And I said, oh, this is my hand. And she's like, really? Wow, let me see. Why is your hand so small? And I said, well, how else am I going to meet someone as small as you if I don't have a small hand? And she's like, oh, that's neat. She's like, can I hold your small hand? So she went like this. And then we walked around in a circle the whole time my friend was selling my ticket. Such a great experience. What I love about that is that she knows I feel comfortable with who I am. It allows her to be comfortable with who she is. Yeah, it's very special. Such a bonus. But I'll tell you, about 10 years ago, I used to see this one guy come into the fair, who's been a long-time fair goer, like 10, 15 years. Okay? Okay, good. I like the foot. That was great action. I used to see this guy, had one arm, one hand, just like me, but you could tell he wasn't very happy about it. And he used to have a hay hook. He had a rusted arm, and then he had a hay hook on the end, and then he wrapped it in barbed wire. Yeah, and then he wore really aggressive shirts, and he just didn't look that pleasing, and he was always very upset. You could tell the brother was not that happy. And I don't even know what happened. I saw him every year for 9 years. Never once did I approach him. But I figure I'm doing my OCF job. I'm his opposite. He's like spreading hurt, I'm spreading happiness. And we're kind of working each other out. And then I just remember walking through the fair. I was shining, I had my high beams on, I was just having a good time. And I came around this corner and these 4 little girls, they must have been 5 to 7. They just looked at me and went like this. And I leaned into them and I said, oh, you've seen my opposite, haven't you? And they were all like, yeah. He's pretty spooky, isn't he? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, that's not my job. My job's actually to make people happy. And if you have any questions, now's a great time to ask. And then they just stood there for a second and I looked at their parents and their parents were just kind of giggling. So I said again, I was like, this is your big chance to ask a question because you never know when you're going to see me again. And then all of them got excited. They're like, wow, where's your hand? And I said I was born like this. And they're like, nuh-uh. Little girls do that. They say nuh-uh a lot. Boys are a little different. They got a whole different thing going on. Once this 9-year-old boy looked at me and he said, what's wrong with your arm? And I looked right at him and I said, nothing. Then he had this most confused look on his face. One eye was going sideways. And I said, nothing was wrong. I was born like this. You guys get it? We're all born like this. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. This is it. That's why I like who I am. And I don't really believe in disability. If you ask me if I have a disability, I'll say no. Because I think disability has to do with how you think, not whether or not you have all your body parts. Because I see a lot of people with a lot of body parts or a normal body for whatever that means. I don't really know what that means. They don't really do that much. But then I see people with no arms playing the piano and playing the guitar. I see somebody with no arms playing the piano and the guitar. I look down at me, I think I could probably do a little bit more. So what's really going on? Is it a disabled body or do you have disabled thinking? Do you ever think about your thinking? I mean, how often do you think? Sometimes people think they can stop thinking. I mean, you think you don't think, but that's just your thinking, you're not thinking. And you're thinking all the time. And then normally what you think naturally manifests. So the more you believe that you can do things, the more you can. And then if you have disabled thinking, it's like, I cannot. Disabled thinking is 2 words, I can't. That's impossible. And then if you have really extreme disabled thinking, you say this to other people, that's impossible for you. You can't do that. Don't engage in disabled thinking. I would rather have a disabled body than disabled thinking. Okay, is everybody with me? You with me, young ladies? Okay, let me get a round of applause for no more disabled thinking. All right, oh, okay, I like this crowd back here. I like this crowd back here. That's right. You don't need 2 hands to do nothing. Ah, the Reverend. Yeah, this brother right here, man, he sent me back this morning, man. The Crux Revival. Yeah, these guys throw down, man. When you get a chance, you go see this guy. This guy, they were great this morning. I'm going to clap just for them, and I'm going to give, well, thought I was going to give a high five. All right. So I'm going to blow a little didgeridoo. You guys ready for a little didgeridoo? Okay. And then whenever I do a didgeridoo, I always dedicate the song. This song's from my mom. Now, all good superheroes take care of their mom. Right? And if you're a kid, where's all my kids? Okay, where's all my kids at heart? Okay, good. All right. All good superheroes take care of their mom. When Clark Kent got a job as Superman at the Daily Planet, he told the Daily Planet to send half his check to who? His mom. That's right. And then all Chinese superheroes, they take care of their parents. Are you listening to this, you 2 young people right there? Yeah, take care of your parents. Okay, who wants some deep superhero training if you're under 10 years old? You guys ready for deep superhero training? Okay. If you're under 10 years old, this is what I started doing when I was 6 years old to formally be a superhero. Okay, well 10 counts, you can do 11 too. Okay, you gotta remember these 3 things. Are you ready? Every day you must brush your teeth twice a day. Are you with me? Just go like this. Okay. Every day you gotta brush your teeth twice a day. And then you must always keep your room clean. Are you with me? I know, that's why it's hard training. Not all kids can do it, but I know you can all do it. Oh yes. This is, if you actually do this, most people don't. It makes you superhuman. And then, you gotta take care of your parents. Who knows what the crackle box is? Anyone? Oh, no one? Good, I brought this from another planet. This is a very obscure musical instrument. It's an electronic musical instrument. My theremin is the world's first electronic musical instrument. This one is invented I'm sorry, this one was invented in 1960 something, and the guy that invented it made about 1,000 of them and then vaporized into obscurity. And then he coalesced, re-emerged in about 2004 and started making about 800, 900 of those, and you got to special order them, right? It took so long to get this, by the time I got it, I forgot that I ordered it. Right? And then this one is Cracklebox 290 of 5,000 of the 2007 run. I like obscure, odd musical instruments. As a one-handed guy, sometimes you got to make things fit the body. And I cannot think that I need to do things like two-handed people do. I just need to do them like a one-handed person does. And I can play the guitar, but I cannot do it necessarily like a two-handed person, but I can put a nice little slide on there, lay that thing on my lap, and play it like a slide guitar. And then you see somebody with no arms or a one-handed dude playing the guitar, you might think, I think I could do a little bit more. And just by default, you inspire people. It's one of the greatest benefits of not having two hands. That when you see that I like who I am, it gives you a little more hope. And then when you see all the things that I've actually accomplished, or at least hear of the things that I've accomplished, it can actually inspire you just a little bit. Here are some of my accomplishments, and I'm sharing them with you only as a vehicle of inspiration. Once, I rode my bicycle from Seattle to Chicago. I went by myself. You know the hardest thing about riding your bike from Seattle to Chicago without two hands? Man, my butt hurt, my tushy hurt. It's hard to sit on that seat for that long. When I was in college, I was ranked top 20 in the nation in collegiate pocket billiards. Yeah, I shoot a mean game of stick. I put myself through college as a hustler. Don't play people with one hand in billiards. And then I have 3 black belts. I'm a black belt in Danzanryu Jiu-Jitsu, Kaju Kempo Karate, and I'm a 3rd degree black belt in Aikido. And for 10 years, I ran my own martial arts school. And you can do anything you want. You just have to change how you think. You have to believe in yourself. Do not engage in disabled thinking. Think anything is possible. So you guys ready for a little crackle box? Yeah. All right, are you sure? We'll see. Are you guys ready for another benefit of not having two hands? All right, who can maybe think of a benefit of not having two hands? Old school, I'll never get drafted to war. I'm a little beyond that age, but there was a time that was a consideration. What do you think, young brother? Nice and loud so I can hear you. I can what? Oh, I can bike. Yes. Okay, who here has a partner? Who's got a sweetheart? Okay, you guys got a partner? Okay, who engages in some deep cuddling? Okay, and I'm talking deep cuddling, 2-movie cuddling, right? Yeah, you ever cuddle so long you have that arm that gets tired, falls asleep, or gets in the way? You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. This arm right here, never gets tired, never falls asleep, and never gets in the way. I know, you're not ready for it. You know what that means? That means I could cuddle forever. Yeah, and that's priceless. Yeah, that's totally priceless. I'd give my, well, never mind. Oh yeah, you guys are good, I like that, that's right. Once when I was here at the fair, I was working at my didgeridoo teacher's booth. Alan Shockley had a booth here for a long time. This is an Alan Shockley didge. Okay, so I was selling didgeridoos, and I was talking to these parents. It was a mother and a father. We're talking about didgeridoos, and then I noticed they stopped looking at me, and they're staring at something. So I looked to see what they're staring at. And they're staring at their 9-year-old boy looking at my arm. So I look over at them, they look at me, and they're like, eh? So I turned my arm so he could get a really good angle, and I lifted it up a little bit. And I said, go ahead, young brother, get a big look, man. Really suck it up, man. This is your big chance. When are you ever going to see somebody like me? So look all you want. He got a big smile on his face, and he just leaned in a bit. And then his little sister, she was probably like 5. She's like, I want to see. So I got really close. She grabbed my arm. Girls do this. Boys don't do it that much, but she just grabbed my arm with both hands. She's like, "This is your hand?" She said, "It looks like a foot." Little girls say that. I've never had one little boy say that, but I've had a handful of girls say that. "Looks like a foot." And then she started asking me a series of questions. "Well, how do you tie your shoe? How do you put your coat on? How do you put your watch on?" She's like, "How do you hold a cup?" Very standard questions. I like that. I do a lot of professional speaking, one-handed overtones. I go to a lot of schools. I have a whole supply of things that I bring out. I'm very well prepared for kids' questions, because kids ask the best questions. We had a great moment. I leaned in and I grabbed the little girl and I said, "You know, you don't need two hands to do anything. If you put your mind to it, if you believe in yourself and do not believe in other people's limitations, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. And you must find a way. You must do that." And then they left, and I waved. I gave her this wave. And she's like, "Bye, Mr. Foot Hand." Now, I'll tell you right now, you can look up here. You can see that I actually enjoy not having two hands. I think it's super cool. I love it. I really do. There's so many benefits. Another great benefit of not having two hands is, by default, I'm more clever and creative, because I've had to figure everything out on my own. How do I do things? How do I tie my shoe? How do I drive my car? How do I pop a zit? You ever try to pop a zit with one hand? This stuff's hard. And because of that, it's made me more clever and creative, and it's supported my life endeavor to live as an artist. I think that is just so beautiful. Such a benefit to not having two hands. So you got to think sometimes, what are you limiting yourself to? How does your thinking disable you? Do not engage in disabled thinking. You guys ready for a little more theremin, some ambient flow? Okay, remember this?
Yeah!
Now remember, when I touch my forehead, you're supposed to scream like it's the greatest thing on earth. Let's try that again. Okay, good. Okay, here we go. All right.
Let's go in the back.
So a little more theremin for you guys. Thank you. It's hard to know what to do after something like that. All right. Great. So like I was saying earlier, you can look up here and you can pretty much tell I actually enjoy who I am. And I'm hoping I can inspire you to just like who you are. So if you really want people to like you, you got to like yourself. It's real straightforward. This isn't deep stuff here. I'm just telling you something else someone told me. So again, my name is Droyko. I'm the one-handed superhero of inspiration. You can actually find me online, and then if you want to chat a little bit, I perform a lot at schools. I do a lot of international speaking. I have some cards. But you can find me online, this is great, at onehandspeaks.com. I thought about doing a little logo like this, but that's a little cheesy. Thank you, yes. And then I also have a superhero persona. I speak at a lot of Comic-Cons. So last year I was at the Emerald City Comic-Con. I spoke, and then I did Rose City Comic-Con. I also love the whole superhero gig. When I was a kid growing up, superheroes were my haven. That is where I went when people were getting rough or mean or just pushing me around, things like that. I just went to superheroes. I read a lot of comic books. I'm way into sci-fi. Because in the world of superheroes, it's just all about hope and inspiration. So I have a whole website devoted to nothing but superhero Comic-Con speaking. And if you're into that, that website is called The Guardian of Hope. Because I believe that is what all superheroes do, is offer hope and inspiration. And when you become more than who you thought you could be, when you overcome your obstacles, when you do things that other people think are impossible, By default, you offer other people hope and inspiration. In a very real way, we're all superheroes, and we have that opportunity all the time, every day, in every moment, even if all you do is smile. Sometimes people ask me what's the greatest thing I've ever done, and I just say make a child smile. That's very powerful.